Every day I wake up, wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Jess Hilarious, DJ Envy. Envy and Jess aren't here today, but LL Cool Bay, Loren LoRosa is, and it is Indigenous Peoples Day. So we had to reach out to our folk, man. ANTOINEX and Nataanii means what's happening.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Good to be here.
How are y'all feeling, man, on this day? What does this day mean to y'all personally?
Well, you know, it's a day of. It's funny because there's one side of it that's supposedly Columbus Day, right? Then there's the other half of it that's Indigenous Peoples Day, which we've been fighting to have and then fighting to get rid of. So right now, with everything that's going on, it feels good to be here and be recognized, and to be on a platform like this is just like, it means the world to us and to our people too. A lot of our people don't get to be on platforms like this. We come from the reservations, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we come on the platforms and we're asked about the past, about the traumas which are there. But today, you know, we want to celebrate, you know, we're here right now and we're thriving. We're making it out of places that they didn't want us to make it out of. And, you know, we're kicking it on the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? As artists, this is, you know, this is historic. I want to say that this is historic for Native music. So for Native people, just to be here and to be able to speak on what we are today, who we are today, and just, you know, represent, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
What is Indigenous hip hop? Because people will hear that and be like, Indigenous hip hop is the Bronx. You know?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what, you know what I mean? With Native music, it's just us being able to use hip hop, you know, respectfully to tell our stories, which is like, you know, there's people wonder like, what is it like on the reservation? And it's like, yeah, there's overlapping struggles that are similar to like because I live in Omaha, Nebraska. And, you know, I know what the hood is like and I know what the res is like. And there's like so many differences that people don't even know of, you know, they're like, be shocked that there's third world countries an hour away from the city and all these luxuries. You know what I mean? And that's what our people come from. And we get to talk about it. We get to talk about things, you know, being erased, you know, we at least representation in media. People think we're still living in teepees. They still think that we have to wear certain things to be seen. And what we're trying to do right now through music is just, you know, like, this is our story and just hear our voices. We shouldn't have to like fit an image just to be seen. And in order for people to listen, you know, listen to us and hear our stories. Yeah,
like it's 2025 right now, and people are still like stuck in the romanticized version of what natives are, right? Like, you have to be living in a teepee, or you got like, or people don't even know we exist. And you say Indigenous hip hop. It's funny because on Saturday we just did Indigenous hip hop festival in the Bronx, in the South Bronx, and on Friday we met Kool Herc. He came, and Cindy Campbell came and did a talk at the Hosto Center. And I got to perform with different Indigenous people from all across the Western Hemisphere, from the tips of Chile, Peru, all the way up to Canada, and me representing here. So Indigenous hip hop is more like, you know, we understand that where hip hop comes from is Black culture. It comes from here. It comes from the roots of Africa, which is tribal roots. You know what I mean? And the way we relate to it is from an Indigenous perspective. Like, we relate to the sounds, we relate to the storytelling, and we're not hijacking the culture is what I want to make clear. We're just adding on to it to grow the culture and to be connected more, because hip hop saved a lot of our lives. R&B, hip hop on the reservations, because we heard it as a music of the struggle, music that you could tell your story with. And that's what we're doing. You know, we're relating it. And now being able to do it with you guys, with the Black culture, Black community, it means the world, because we've connected in ways with the American Indian movement, the Black Panthers, the Brown Berets. So doing this with music is just another form of connection.
What stories are you telling in your music that like you think people haven't heard enough of, like that you want people to like really get and understand?
Oh man, we want to tell them about who we are right now.
I saw that. So talk about that. Like, what is the image that people should have of Native people today?
So real quick, just to get to that, like people say, oh, native rapper, you know, oh, you're a native rapper, you're just a native rapper. And I feel like for music, just anything native, it's never just one thing. Like to be a native person in general, we always speak on it. Our elders speak on it. Our people is walking two worlds. And I think everyone can relate to that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we walk this world and we're deeply like tied to our culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like our ways, we go to ceremonies, we do all of that. You know, like we sing our traditional songs that they were trying to wipe those out. You know, they were murdering children for speaking the language and singing these songs. These songs made it through, and we currently sing those songs today in ceremony. And so we have this world where we walk with our teachings, our values, you know, compassion for each other, for people, for the land, for everything. And then there's this other world, the mainstream world, that's like, hey, get the bag at all costs, dog eat dog, you know, like, woo, woo, all that. And we have to walk these worlds. And I think to be a native artist, for us personally, is just to put our world at the forefront and like, you know, kind of navigate this world rather than trying to emerge into this and just like slip in some of who we are. It's being who we are and just representing that. And the story would be, man, there's so much. But it all connects. You know, once you say, when you listen to our elders talk, it's always like a kind of a joke where you'd be like, oh, what is this? What's this drink? And then the elder just start going off for like an hour and then come back at the end of the hour and be like, oh, it brings me back to that. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what it is as a native artist, because if you know, once we tell our story, you're hearing all these, you know, talking about the res, talking about just not being represented. I think the biggest thing is just to create our own, just get inside the door, you know, and just be seen for who we are as a real representation. Who are native people? We're artists. We can sing, we could rap, we have fashion. There's so many clothing lines, you know what I mean? There's brands, there's businesses. And right now it's booming within the native community. We have our own little economy that we're trying to branch out into the mainstream, you know, world. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where we're at. We're just trying to like push these doors open and knock them down to be seen so people could just like see individual stories. Cause I mean, when people say natives, you could be like, oh, what about native people? I can't tell you about all native people, really. Mm-hmm. I could tell you the general, like, you know, everything overlaps, like our teachings, you know, same with indigenous people across the world, but all these, you know, like he's the ne.
Yeah, one thing is like, I want to make clear is that we don't represent all nations, right? You know what I mean? Like right now, there's over 560 different nations in this country alone.
And that's languages, that's ceremonies, that's separate.
Different traditions, and we just represent our teachings and where we come from. But at the same time, we are out here trying to make people understand we're here. Mm-hmm. And then we live with y'all in the mainstream societies, and we go through the same struggles right now. We're going through the same things right now with what's happening in this country. And what's happening to a lot of Americans is what happened to us on reservations. Rights being taken away, censorship, mm-hmm. your right to pray. That all happened to us.
Genocide.
That happened to us. It happened to your ancestors. Mm-hmm. It happened to a lot of people's ancestors. It happened to white people's ancestors as well. And at some point, you know, we got to learn from the past, right, to know our future. And this is what it's about, man. Like I said earlier, connection. It's about understanding each other and being able to represent who we are in the contemporary culture right now is important. You know, even my own people last night, a couple nights ago, a post got shared about the Indigenous Hip Hop Festival. And it's like, oh, we're appropriating their culture now. Somebody from my community said that. It's like, no, we're not appropriating, you know, hip hop culture. We just live together. Mm-hmm. You know, why can't we just all just live together and understand?
You know, it's interesting. I wonder what your elders, right? Because I'm thinking about how your community keeps, you know, that ancestral knowledge and traditions alive. But mm-hmm. how do they feel about you using hip hop per se to do that? Because, you know, it's almost like in gospel music, they'll be like, oh, don't do none of that secular music. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know,
bro, it's tough because, I mean, I don't think we fall into the category because, like, if the words that we speak, you know, the lyrics, we speak on some real shit. Or yeah, so there are artists that just go out and talk crazy, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, we're kind of like new to the game. We're new to a lot of things, you know what I mean? And as a people, so when we hear like our young kids talking about some crazy things, it's like, all right, you know, there's some better things to talk about. You know, you're not really. Yeah, it shouldn't be that. But I feel like that's a lot of communities. You know what I mean? And
like you ain't really busting your gun. You're not really in the street. You ain't selling no dope. We don't do that on the resi. Like cut it out.
But what is crazy though? I don't want to glorify this. I don't think it's something to necessarily to be proud of. But there are a lot of those types of things going on the res. You know, that's why I say that overlapping things. You know, there are, you know, anything that you could think of in the hood is going on the res as well. But, you know, a lot of times platforms highlight that. You know, they'll come in with cameras and be like, hey, can you show us the hood? Can you show us like killings, the poverty porn? That's what it is. And then I'm like, hey, why don't we go over here and you see that all of this over here is like people, you know, you go to the border towns and next to any res, and it's always the most racist, right? And then they tell them, hey, don't go to the res. And there's so many crazy like stories I've heard, you know, oh, they'll do this to you, they'll do this. I'm like, you know what, the res is probably one of the most safest places you could go. You go to any house and there's gonna be some grandma that's like, yeah, come in, feed you. You know what I mean? Because it's community. It's community that a lot of times the city and people that are just a part of this mainstream society aren't used to, because that's like an old thing that's not necessarily used nowadays.
But are the elders proud of the music? Like when they hear y'all, like I said, you know, keeping certain traditions alive and ancestral knowledge, and y'all putting it in the music, are the elders proud of it?
One thing about us, and Tone was getting into it, was that we incorporate our traditional sound. So Tone's a singer. He's a traditional singer. I can't sing. I'm not going to try to ever. But Tone, he incorporates our traditional music into it. We bring our drums into it. We add it into the beats. We're always going to bring the culture into it. But it's funny you say that, because I just did a show a couple weeks ago where I performed in the middle of the res, the Navajo res, and it was to nothing but elders. Wow. And their little grandkids who are running around. And sometimes it's like that. You don't have the moms and dads are working, or they're not around right now, or they're moved to the city to work. So the grandmas and grandpas are watching their kids, and it was a parent night at a high school. So they brought their kids, and it's just elders. I'm talking like fluent speakers.
What age are your elders? Because I know our elders getting a little younger because the parents are getting younger.
Yes, that's true. That's another thing too. But when I think of elders, I think like 60s and up. Okay. You know what I mean?
And honestly, it's like it also goes on like the knowledge, like what knowledge do they carry?
Knowledge,
you know, like
because you could be an elder and older. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's something too. Elders and olders.
You could be an older person with no teachings.
Just an old fool.
Yeah, and be sitting with one every day. Every day I be sitting with an old just fool.
Hey, but with that too, I want to say like, so my name's ANTOINEX. I'm Umaha. I'm Lakota. On my Lakota side, I'm Oglala and Sichangu. And that's Sioux.
We have no idea what that is.
That's Sioux. Those are my tribes.
The tribe.
So my mom, she's Lakota, and that's the Sioux. And within the Lakota, there's bands, and I'm Oglala and Sichangu. The res would be Pine Ridge and Rosebud. And then my dad's full Umaha, which is the city Omaha is named after.
You're sad. I know that's right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so the language, I remember being told like the language is dying. So we have things that we're still fighting to get back, which is like languages. And then there's languages like Dene that's thriving, but you know, that was used to help win the war. What war was that?
World War II. So
of course the government's gonna be, oh yeah, we like language. They helped us win a war. You know, but other areas were like fighting, and now we're fighting to get our languages back. So with the music, you know, I am learning, but I incorporated some Umaha language, which almost died out some years ago, and I put it into like a dance hall record. And now I have homies from Washington, and I'm like, you know what that means? They're like, no, what's it mean? But you're speaking Umaha.
Yeah.
And now we have little kids singing it, and it's like,
and it brings back that.
We're bringing language back, language revitalization through music.
Yeah, I mean, dope music is dope music. Like if you don't necessarily have to know the language. Think about when Big Pun did Boricua, Borela.
Don't even know.
I didn't know what that meant back then.
Don't know what it means.
No, it means Boricua is red. What does Boricua mean?
All I know is Dominic.
Puerto Ricans and they shout out girls.
Yes, girls. Puerto Ricans. Yeah.
Now I be listening to Bad Bunny. I look at the lyrics. I'm like, oh, you know.
He just making dope shit. Or Afro beats, like you don't necessarily know every word, but they're just making dope music. Dope music is dope music.
Dope music is dope music.
The universal language, you just could hum something and people are gonna feel it.
Yeah.
That connects people. And even our traditional songs, you know, we sing those, and some songs they'll be like, "What's that mean?" And I'm like, "It means all of this." And I can't really explain. Like I can explain it, but it's gonna be so much to explain. But what does it say? Like the words? There's no words in this specific song. It's like vocals. But that song is used for a specific thing within our ceremonies, and everyone knows that song for that. And I guess if you look at it from an outside perspective, that's what it is. Is like would be like humming or vocals, but with meaning. You know what I mean? So like I feel like that. You know, if you hear our songs, you know they're pretty ass songs, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" But it's good. You know, you'll feel it.
How offensive or, and I don't know if it's offensive. How do you guys feel about the fact that like schools still teach Columbus Day versus there's no real conversation around Indigenous People Day? Like,
Schools teaching everything.
Yeah,
so
like,
much.
I didn't learn about that until I got out of college.
Teaching, you know,
They're not teaching nothing.
So even just what happened recently, yesterday, the guy in the White House signed a proclamation, or what is it? What are they signing? What's he signing? Those executive orders to get rid of Indigenous Peoples Day on the calendar as a federal holiday. Now, it's always been Columbus Day, federally recognized as Columbus Day. And then in 2021, Biden made Indigenous Peoples Day side by side with it, which is a step towards the right direction. But, you know, he undid that, and he just totally just said, we're doing away with Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday. And that took years of people to make happen, you know what I mean, to get that recognition just on the calendar.
Yeah. And
what you're saying is true, man. Like the history isn't taught because they want to forget the history, and it's happening right now. Even with Black history, they're getting rid of the history because they want to make it seem like genocide, slavery didn't happen, or they're okay with the genocide and slavery because it's happening right now all over the world still. We're just so desensitized to it. So, we definitely don't fuck with like. I'm sorry, my bad. But we don't fuck with how erased we're becoming. And this is one reason we pushed so hard to get into these platforms, because people need to see us in the flesh.
Word up.
2025, 2026 soon. And we're here. We're still here, man. Like, we're here. We're wearing long hair. My grandpa had his hair cut in boarding school. They had to forcefully cut their hair to disconnect them from our traditions and ways. Here we are, you know, and we're merging cultures together to be able to speak our language and have a sense of pride in it for our young kids, and our elders love it, you know. And
it's wild with him signing the executive order to not acknowledge Indigenous People Day, because the executive order Biden signed was to acknowledge both. So it's not like you had to get rid of either or. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to go out of your way to say there's no Indigenous People Day.
I don't know, man. It's just everything's backwards now. You see what's happening, man. Everything's backwards. We're used to it.
Tell us what that means.
I mean, it's erasure, bro. That's what it's been. You know?
Oh, you say ain't nothing new.
Nothing
Yeah.
new.
I'm sorry. I thought you said a word.
He thought you were teaching him like
I
something.
did.
He didn't hear
No.
you.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's something you know.
Yeah.
Tell me about this song, Scalp Takers, man.
Oh, Scalp Takers. I released that a couple weeks ago, and
Do natives still participate in scalp taking?
we're about to with everything going on. About to revive that shit. But the history of scalp taking, it comes from the French, actually. The French did it first to Indians, and then we took it and we kind of just did it back. Everything that happened to us, we did it back. But we have stories, we have societies, we call them societies, where they honor warriors of the past who participated in that. You know, they honored the scalps that they took. They carried them, they wore them on their belt. So that song is more or less just me like coming full circle back around and saying, this is my mentality right now. Like, fuck everything that's going on. I'm scalp taking. I'm a warrior up. You know, and I want our people to be that and to feel that with the music. So, Scalp Takers, it's out everywhere. dropping a video soon. And then Tone over here, he just dropped a song and video with Shorty. And these are making their rounds and yeah, shit, scalp taking, baby. Don't get scalped.
You might have to name some names. End up on Fox News or something. He
want me to have the smoke.
What are some misconceptions about Native identity or history that y'all would like to correct?
What's something that?
Yeah, what's something you guys
that you
We
think?
can't say that.
Yes, you can. That's why it's a misconception. So you can.
Yeah,
say,
what are some stereotypes, misconceptions?
Here's an example, and like how wild you could just ask us, because this one dude came up. He was like, "Hey, bro, I heard if you steal on the res, they cut your hand off."
I've always heard that.
Hell no.
You know what's crazy? I went to a res before I used to work in community relations for Barclays, and we went into a reservation, and I've heard that.
Well, look,
told, like, people really think that that's a thing.
Where was the res at?
We were, I don't know, somewhere in like Mexico,
New Mexico?
New Mexico City or something like that. Mexico's.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere over there. I don't really remember. It was like a long time ago. But we went and we stayed for like a week.
Wow.
And that was one of the things that we were kind of warned about.
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing. I'm
be
in
careful
Omaha,
not
so I'll
cut
be
your
hearing
hand.
stuff.
No, yeah, well, I wasn't going to steal.
Well, look, they say a lot, man, and they say wow, things like that. And I remember he asked me, I was like, bro, if you steal, then they'll call the cops, and then you'll get in trouble. But that's the same thing as the city. But I guess it's just things like that, people thinking we're just like some
always drunk. You hear that one?
Oh yeah, we hear that all
I
the
want
time.
to say something right now. My whole entire life, as a Native person, 100%, I've never had one taste of alcohol my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've never, I don't even smoke, never smoked in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I chose to walk. And in our way, we call that the red road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the red road of walking free from all of that, because that blurs the connection, right? It gets you blurry and hazy. And, I just chose this way of life. And that's, as a young person, I chose to be a singer. And a singer has a high regard in our community.
Mm-hmm.
These songs are powerful. These songs are everything for our ceremonies. So,
Yeah.
my dad, my mom, they were like, if you walk this way, you walk the red road. So I decided to walk the red road as a young man, and here I am as a grown man and still walking that way.
Yeah. And I'm a person that's, added to that stereotype. I was in addiction. I was, heavily influenced by alcohol and walking and being sober now. Now I'm walking the red road.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
And hey, you know what I mean? And it's a rough life. I mean, you grow up with it all around you in a dysfunctional way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys see it in the inner cities as well. They're stuck in a cycle. So being able to get out of that and being able to push that agenda, the red road, is important for us, and it's important for our kids to hear that too.
What about some of the forms of compensation and restitution y'all have received for?
Where's that at?
Hey, bring that to me.
Where is that
I
at?
always say that's one of the stereotypes.
Yeah,
No,
I guess you would call it a stereotype.
So, our tribes, we don't get per cap.
So compensation and all that stuff, there's tribes out there that own casinos that are next to huge cities and or freeways, interstates. They do reserve a per capita from their earnings to each member if they're a small nation. Most nations, though, we're out in the middle of nowhere and we don't have that luxury of having casinos near big city centers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no other forms of restitutions that we get from the government. We've had a lot of things stolen from treaty rights that we signed with treaties that with the government that were taken during the time of starvation, when our people were being starved and we were forced to give up land. So there's a lot of things happening right now where we're getting land back through buying land and taking land. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge myth, is that we get free money from the government. We pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? We have to pay taxes. Everyone has to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just so happens that our ancestors paid the worst tax. They were lied to and they were starved and they were killed.
And I guess it's those you're bringing up like the main ones. I guess I should have just brought those up. Alcoholism, smoking, don't pay taxes, get free money, Yeah, those are all like the stereotypes that we've grown up hearing about. And I guess the one I brought up is like a deeper one, getting hands chopped off or stealing, like stuff like that.
No,
but the main ones are those. Yeah.
I think too, just the way that you live on a reservation is just like people don't think that it's like you live like we do everyday people. Like people have like this way that you mentioned the TPs earlier. I don't think that, and I've never heard someone say that in 2025. But I do know that people look at like people living on reservations and they think that you just don't have things. Like it's like a third world country.
No, it's definitely like that. We definitely have the highest rates of unemployment. We have the highest rates of suicide in our young people per capita in a lot of places. And that's just due to the fact of all the economic hardship that we endured from times before, like the Howard Wheeler Act, these acts from in the early 1900s that happened. And it's true, but nowadays, like you have a lot of Native businesses that are prospering.
Yeah.
And we keep Native money in the Native community, and Tone mentioned it earlier about how we have our own little entertainment like sphere happening. Native entertainment. There's the fashion shows, there's the filmmaking, there's the music industry, and we're all like it's popping. And getting that to be able to be recognized in the mainstream as a goal, it's a huge goal. Like they just had Fashion Week here in New York City, and they had a whole Indigenous Fashion Week on the side of that too. So,
and with that too, the way they live. There's business owners, but then there's also people who are still without electricity,
very struggling.
When we went to help bring over Wi-Fi to one of the because the kids hadn't experienced good Wi-Fi. So the company was like helping to get that to the resident, and I thought it was so crazy to me because I'm like, what have the schools and stuff been doing? Yeah,
and there's on the res there's like food deserts too. You got like 100-mile radius, and there's just one grocery store, one gas station, and they jack the prices up. So like I mentioned it in one of my songs about kids walking 15 miles to get to school just to eat, but what if it's wintertime, snowed in, and you don't have a ride, there's no car, the closest food is 20 miles away, and it's either don't eat or get to that store, and then pay they jack the prices up. So it's tough. We're clawing our way out. Our people are clawing our way out to just make it like better living conditions and a better life for our people. So it's people like all of us. I feel like everyone's always thinking about the people, not themselves. Native people are always thinking about their people.
Yeah, we always have to.
You know what I mean? So
I think we all have to adopt that mentality right now.
There you go.
Because man, to me, it's not even about what you are right now. It's about what the evil is on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's really a battle of good versus evil right now. So you just got to find that energy that you gravitate towards, find like-minded people, and black, brown, indigenous, everybody just got to click up. Even the good white folk, everybody just got to click up.
Have to, man.
Bro, you know what's crazy is I was talking to some homies out in L.A., and I was telling them, like, you know what the secret sauce is that I think for artists is Native people. Like I ain't gonna say who, but there's a lot of artists out there that I would say like fell off. If they went anywhere else, people are like, they fell off and no one gets tickets. But they're getting their full rates, selling out like huge, like venues, and it's all natives. So they start hitting the native circuit. So when we say,
you gotta write it down. You gotta tell me who you're talking about.
We say like Lil, like, we have a little circuit, but it's not really little.
It's
like
not really
I've been
little.
touring and selling out venues, and it's like, for the level that I'm at, it's great. It's 600 to 1,000 tickets sold per night. And when people see that, so I went to LA, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, this is our last show. And they're like, boom, let's work. You know what I mean? And by having all of my people behind me, I think the reason my people stand with me is because I stand for and with my people. And that's like what this movement is. That's what ANTOINEX is. That's what Nataanii means is. And a true, Native artist, I feel like, is that. Standing with the people, and the people stand with them.
And for the people.
That's why the crowds pop out. And if anybody stands with Native people too, or just acknowledgement, hey, my natives, I see y'all. I'm going to come do a show on the res somewhere no one goes because all these misconceptions. You know, right? No one goes there, so let me go out there and show some love. Then Native people are like, oh, real one, and I'm gonna rock with them until forever.
I've always had a theory. I feel like, y'all were not the only people indigenous to the land. I feel like black people were indigenous to the land too, especially I'm from South Carolina, so you can look at some pictures of indigenous people and then look at pictures of black people and they look exactly the same.
There's always been, within what the mainstream society doesn't understand is that we still have oral traditions and stories that being passed down. And inside those oral traditions and stories that are passed down, we had trade routes with everybody. So people from the Pacific Islands would trade on the coast of California all the way down to Peru, and Africa would come and trade all the way from South America, on the Atlantic, all the way up into Newfoundland. So we have every nation has stories of these trade routes that are happening, and that's older than what's written down, what's documented by the European American, and that's what I start calling them now, is European Americans. Because, with everything that's happening, you know what I'm saying? I always tell them, like, man, you weren't born here either. Your generation only goes back a couple generations. We go back thousands of years. But no, you're right. And reestablishing those connections is definitely what we have to do now. And understanding, like you said, we all have to come together based off of the love for each other right now, especially right now. You see what's happening in the streets. You see the people getting taken. It's like 1940s Germany, 1930s Germany, and it's hard, but the unity that has to come together right now, man. And the misconceptions have to stop. Yeah, the fear has to stop, and the love has to grow. Has to. If we're gonna survive, if we're gonna live, take it from people that have been in survival mode.
Wow.
You know what I mean, and that are still in survival mode. We're here, we've been here, and we can all move forward together.
You ever been to South Carolina?
Nah, man.
There's a lot of tribes in South Carolina.
I was just in North Carolina with the Cherokee tribe in North Carolina.
Catawba, I think it is. Catawba Nation.
Yeah.
They recognize.
That's where you're from, in South Carolina, huh?
Yep.
There's a lot of history there with
PD Indians, Santee Indians, like it's Edisto. I think it's Edisto. Yeah, it's a lot of tribes in South Carolina.
Word.
Yep.
A lot of those tribes on the eastern slope, they got forcefully removed to Oklahoma.
Y'all gotta come connect with some tribes. Come to a powwow or come to something.
Yeah, you guys gotta come out. You guys gotta come out.
I was so young though. Yeah. I'm just sitting here remembering my time there. I was so young, but probably a different experience now.
Yeah, and there's this.
But I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm gonna want to drink.
Yeah, I'm drinking when I get there.
Okay. You drink some water.
Yeah, you drink some water.
The blue lemonade. Okay. There's the powwow lemonades are the best ones you ever have. You could drink a lemonade.
Yeah.
Is it like?
Powwows are like
good lemonade.
Powwows are like
this. No, I need it infused. Y'all don't have like.
Oh, there's some infusion happening. Okay. There's some infusion happening.
There's some infusion happening.
It's happening. It's happening out here.
Fun fact though, Omaha, the Omaha people, that's the original powwow. So every powwow that you ever heard of, the one that you went to, all traces back to Macy, Nebraska, the Omaha.
I feel like a powwow
would be like a trail ride.
Well, a powwow is a celebration.
Okay.
Right.
It's a social.
I mean, I know what it is, but I feel like you ever heard of a trail ride? In the South Carolina, they do like trail rides. It feel like it would be kind of like that without the. Well, no, we do the bonfires and all that too, though.
No. No, it's so the powwow. Okay. It is a celebration. There's sacred things within it, though. Like people earn all those feathers, and there's healing dances. But it's a celebration. So again, like to be in that circle, you would have to be clear of all of the the alcohol and stuff like that. Gotcha. So it is a celebration, but it's like a traditional celebration. And then from there, though, it goes into each tribe. Then we have our own ceremonies, and those are way deeper. It's similar to like powwow food, like you've heard of Indian tacos and fry bread, yeah?
No.
So Indian tacos, fry bread, damn. Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people bring up. That's the food, but it's not our traditional food. It's survival food. So back when they put us on reservations, they gave rations of the most unhealthy shit. They're thinking 100 years from now every time. And they're like, let's give them this unhealthy shit and they'll get shit. 100 years from now there'll be diabetes and all that. But it was survival food.
Chitlins.
Yeah, it's the worst of the worst that they gave out.
But our traditional foods, way better. Healthy and it's good.
A lot of people are going back to traditional cooking and eating our foods from that certain area. So
we'll put one together. Let's put together a big powwow.
Let's go. Hey, we'll invite you guys.
We'll leave from right here. We'll go to the airport. We'll go Black Hills.
Oh yeah, the Black Hills.
No, the biggest powwow I would say right now going on, is Black Hills powwow in Rapid City, South Dakota.
In the heart of Lakota country, which is in South Dakota.
Is that like Burning Man?
Nah, Burning Man is just.
I've been to Burning
I don't
Man.
even know. Yeah,
I
you've
got
been
kicked
to
out of Burning Man.
What? How the hell?
That's
How
crazy.
wild are you, Antoine? You get kicked out of Burning Man.
No. No, by the camp that I was at, right? Because they brought me in after Standing Rock. Me and Nataanii was at Standing Rock, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what that is.
Yes.
It was fighting against the Dakota Access Pipeline. But anyway, this camp brought us out to amplify our voices to a thing called Burning Man. I didn't know what it was at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll perform. I get there, I'm like, where's the stage at? They're like, wherever you want, brother. And I was like, all right. And they had like these fake teepees up. So I'm kicking it. We're riding bikes around. Like day 3, they start using our drums and our songs. Like these are ceremonial songs. Beating these drums, they're all doing crazy shit. And so I called them out. Oh, and I was, I was with some of my homies and called them out. And they're like, no, brother, we're creating a new tribe of one pit. And I'm like, nah.
Oh, they were lit.
They were lit.
They were on like a shroom or something.
They were lit.
That's a different level of colonization.
Somewhere.
Conscious colonization is crazy.
They removed me from the camp. And I remember I ended up getting to like Reno. And I was sitting there like, damn, I'm stuck in Reno. And I forget how I got home. But yeah, that was my experience. But Burning Man was pretty cool.
Then the Native community called him out for going there.
They're like, you want to selling out? I wasn't. I fight for my people, my ways. But the powwow, it's just it's huge, man. It fills up the entire the monument, which is like the big arena of the city.
And it's it's a place that it's a good starting point for like if you're trying to connect with indigenous community, go check out a powwow and be respectful, but you're always welcome there. They're not gonna like chase you away. You might hear crazy things from non-natives about like, don't go to a powwow, they do this and this. Nah, man, it's always love. So if you're looking to connect, go to a powwow and just be respectful. Understand that's a good entryway into the community.
And I'm checking in, bro.
And also,
I'm checking in. I ain't just pulling up.
Hey,
I gotta check in.
Which y'all, I would first of all shout out to Queen Yanajaha.
Yes, absolutely.
And shout out to Keisha. Queen, man, they're the reason that we're here. Mm-hmm. And Queen has been fighting for us to get into these spaces for so long, and she's like the realest for that.
And she's been in these spaces.
And if you ever want to check out a powwow, connect with Queen.
Yeah.
And then Queen's with us. We're all together as, that's the homie. And you'll get a good welcome to the powwow. Anytime any major people come to powwows, they honor them. You know what I mean? And it's because it's an honor to have people come in and want to see who we are. But yeah, the Black Hills powwow is the biggest one right now and took over Gathering of Nations as being the top spot. And Gathering of Nations was ran by a non-native, which was a big controversy, which is why we didn't attend. And, it's a good time right now because now that one's ending because all the people stood together and said, this ain't it. Let's stand behind native ran powwows. And if anyone's going to create some type of movement from our ways, it should be native people benefiting. So
damn right.
That's what we're doing. And, shout out to Black Hills Powwow for taking that top spot.
Where do they follow y'all at, man?
Yeah, Nataanii means, just my name, Nataanii means on everything, YouTube, Instagram, everything, man. So I appreciate being on here, and I appreciate you. First, you brought it up, and my mom's gonna kill me if I don't introduce myself in my language. So can I introduce myself in my language real quick? Yat Nataanii means Yenishe. Twudich Nishle, Oglala Lakota Bushchin, Umaha Dashache, Yahanktawan Dakota Dashanele. I come from Chinle, Arizona, born and raised. I'm enrolled in the Oglala Lakota tribe nation in South Dakota, and I'm also Umaha and Yahanktawan Dakota from the Lake Andes. So thank you guys for being here. Yeah, hey, shout out to you guys, man, because it's my third time on here. My third time on here with y'all. Yeah, third time.
That's crazy.
Queen.
I got
Queen.
Looking it up.
Shout out Queen, man. Queen, and I just appreciate Charlamagne. I appreciate you for always just being down, man, and having us on and creating this space. It means a lot to not only us but our people and for our kids and our elders, man. And it's a beautiful thing to come together, to be recognized here in the heart of where hip hop started, and looking forward to doing more and connecting more, Charlamagne, for real.
Absolutely. How do we follow you?
ANTOINEX, ANTOINE X music on all platforms. Yeah, just run the music up, check out the movement. The movement is for the people. So if you support, I just want to say this: there's artists that are paintings. This is just kind of how I picture it. A lot of artists are paintings. They paint a picture and then there's nothing behind them. And I want everyone to understand this: that ANTOINEX, Nataanii means are like doorways. So if you tap into the artist, that door opens, and we open that door for all Native artists, brands, businesses, all of that, and you'll tap into everything. You'll see more music, more, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's good. So any artists out there, like you said, start moving for the people and with the people, and be a doorway. Don't just be a painting. Be a doorway to your people. You know what I mean? And that's how you open that community. But
that's a good way to put it.
I want to share, this is Indigenous Peoples Day.
That's right.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
There's nothing else. This is Indigenous Peoples Day. And again, we talked about the music, and for us, music is medicine because it's in our ceremonies.
Boom.
So if this is coming to the closing point, I'll share a prayer song with you guys to leave it with good energy.
Let's do. Cool, before you do that, recommend this song, because I do want to play some indigenous hip hop for the people. So if you had to play a record, what record would you want to play right now, Indigenous People Day, on the radio? I'm serious.
No, yeah. Well, for me, obviously I just dropped a song with Shorty, which what I like in the comments, everyone's like, oh yeah, our community's coming. I'm getting a lot of like the black community, coming in like, oh, this is hard. I put Shorty in front of a teepee, and he's rapping it. So Used to This by ANTOINEX featuring Shorty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's take that as like a moment for our communities to come together and start that. You know what I mean?
And then if you want another thing, Scalp Takers by Nataanii means.
Okay. Take scalps.
Yeah.
Eddie, go grab them. All right, now let's do a prayer. I'm with you.
So this song, I made it for my family. We're going through hardships.
Yeah, I know we hold
Okay, because we touch and agree.
I know what we do.
I don't know what y'all be.
Come on in, everybody.
Well, look. Yeah, this is good. This is like blending right now.
That's
Okay,
right.
yeah, because with us, my grandma about her had to pray.
Yeah.
You better touch it.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah, I like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we just be standing there.
Yeah, we just be that. All right.
But so this song, it's I made it for my family to uplift. When you're sad and you play sad songs.
Yeah.
I remember this elder that I was listening to, he said, my song, When I Leave, and it was his song for, he was going to move on and go home. And he said, make it happy. I want the people to be happy when they think of me. So we went through hardships, and I made this song for the family to uplift them. So anyone listening, take this song, think good things, think of your families.
Absolutely.
And just send good energy their way and love their way, and then take it in for yourselves.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll say that, my pops told me, he said, if we don't have the right words, then we have the right song, especially as Native people. So right now, the best prayer in the world, man, is through this song.
Let's do it.
So,
Let's go.
Yahweh, 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 hey away, hey away, oh hey, hey, oh, way oh ha, way oh, way oh ha, hey, hey, oh, way, hey, oh, way, away. Hey, way, ho, hey, hey, yo, way, oh, ha, way, oh, way, oh, ha, oh, hey, hey, oh.
Snoop.
How.
All right. That was ANTOINEX and Nataanii Means. Thank y'all for coming, man.
Hey,
Thank you guys for having
Appreciate
us,
you. It's the
man.
Breakfast
Thank you
Club.
guys.
Hold up. Every day I wake up. Wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?